Finding time to be creative while managing the chaos of parenthood can be tough. But today I want to share with you how I come up with creative ideas even while life gets hectic. Trust me, you're going to want to stick around to the end because I'll be revealing my secret weapon that always sparks creativity when I feel stuck. You know, one of the best sources of inspiration for me is just living life with my family. Kids have this amazing way of seeing the world differently, and I try to tap into that as much as possible. Whether it's a funny conversation, a spontaneous adventure, or even those everyday parenting struggles, there's always something that sparks an idea. As a filmmaker, sometimes I'm harvesting those ideas through the lens of story. When my kids have a moment in which they learn to see the world or they're coming of age, I make note of it. And sometimes those ideas are purely visual. The way they move through space or the way the light hits them as they walk into school, it can all be gold in terms of inspiration. I like to capture those moments. Sometimes I'll jot them down as a quick note in my phone, or if I have time, I'll write them longhand in a journal. Later, I'll go back through those and realize how much creative gold is hiding in those little observations. And honestly, just playing with my kids helps too. Their imagination knows no bounds, and often their ideas inspire me in ways that I never expect. Finding time to be creative as a parent is tough though, right? That's why I've learned to be intentional about carving out space for it. For me, early mornings or late nights work really well. Those are the quiet moments when the house is asleep and I can focus without distractions. Even if I can only squeeze in a 15-minute session, it works for me and I make it count. Another thing that helps, switching up my environment. Sitting at the same desk all day can feel really stale, especially if you work from home. So I like to take a walk outside or hit a local coffee shop or even just sit in a different room. It's amazing how a simple change of scenery can lead to fresh ideas. One trick I found really useful is setting a timer for short creative sessions where I just let my ideas flow freely without judgment or expectation of delivery. Sometimes the best ideas come when the pressure is off. A lot of people use the Pomodoro technique. For me, I just hit a timer for 45 minutes, followed by a 15-minute break, like a real break with no expectations, just maybe mindlessly scrolling. And that's a great rhythm for me. And if I'm being honest, that fits nice and neatly into an hour block and fills my calendar in a way that my neat and tidy brain really likes. Let's be honest, as busy parents, we need all the help we can get. And that's why I rely on a few tools to keep my ideas organized and flowing. Notion and Apple's Notes are my go-to apps. That's where I store all my brainstorming, inspiration, and project ideas. They help me stay on top of everything, and I can access that from wherever I am, no matter what time it is. I also use Apple's Photos a lot. Sometimes ideas hit me when I'm doing something with the kids, and it's just a lot easier to take a photo of it rather than trying to write it down, especially if it's a visual cue or a visual observation. Also, when I'm feeling stuck, sometimes I turn to ChatGPT. I know there can be some controversy around this in the creative community, but I think it's a great way to start the gears moving. It doesn't do everything for you, but you can throw a theme at it, a few ideas, and it'll get you to a V1 that keeps your gears cranking. I think that it's a really useful tool. You know, just the other day I was at the grocery store checking out. I was in a rush and kind of annoyed that I was the one doing the grocery shopping again, and definitely not interested in having a conversation with the person checking me out. But I was polite, and she began to chat about her experiences with the recent fires here in LA. And as I listened, I started to wake up to the fact that this harrowing story that she was telling me about her grandparents escaping their home, which was on fire, could be an amazing short film. Now, that's a simple example, but I've learned that inspiration comes from really unexpected places. So I try to expose myself to all different types of content: books, podcasts, films, and even conversations with other creatives or parents. It's amazing how learning about something completely unrelated to filmmaking can give me a fresh perspective and new ideas. Watching how other filmmakers tell stories and listening to creative podcasts or just having deep conversations with other creative entrepreneurs has often sparked ideas that I would not have thought of on my own without that input. And you know what? Even diving into topics that have nothing to do with my work, like science or psychology or history, can be really incredible creative fuel. Okay, so here's my secret weapon. When I feel completely out of ideas, I step away. Seriously, when I try to force creativity, it never works. Instead, I walk away from the project and I spend time with my family or do something totally unrelated. And you know what? That's usually when the best ideas hit for me. Sometimes the mind just needs a little space to breathe before the ideas really start to flow again. Look, being a busy dad does not mean you have to put creativity on hold. With the right mindset and a few habits, you can stay inspired and keep producing great creative work while being an amazing present dad. Enough about me, I'd love to hear from you. How do you come up with creative ideas when life gets busy? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and hey, if you enjoyed this video, like, subscribe, hit that little bell so you're alerted next time I drop some knowledge in this area. Hey, thanks so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one.